Greetings and welcome to the Beers and Bodyslams podcast. Sitting across from me, he is the apple chutney to my pork chop, Mr. Fluffy.
Aw. And sitting across from me, he is the Susie to my Q, good old
They
JB.
need to bring those back.
Oh, I know.
Well, today we have a good show for you guys. This is our topic show this week. We're going to discuss a lot of the recent events going on off camera with WWE, with performers asking for the releases, walking out of the company. We're going to tackle the issue and discuss, what's causing this to happen. Where do we see this going? Will this be a trend? Are these performers going to make a mistake? We'll get into who we feel could benefit from leaving and maybe trying to do their own thing in the indies, and who, may leave and it may not be the best idea for them to do so. We'll dive into that. We have a great beer as well. We'll do all that and more when we come right back.
Awesome!
This is the Beers and Bodyslams podcast
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
with your host, Mr. Fluffy,
Hello, ladies.
good old JB,
Booty-O's! They make sure you ain't booty.
and the Irish O'Leary.
There's only one word to describe you, and I'm gonna spell it out for you. A-A-W-S-T!
This is the only podcast bringing you craft beer and pro wrestling that really matters.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, D-Generation X proudly brings to you its WWF Tag Team Champion of the World, the Road Dogg Jesse James, the Badass Billy Gunn, the new.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
All right, Fluffy, what are we drinking this fine evening?
Well, I want to say before also, obviously you can hear that it's the two of us this
yes,
week.
I was going to get into that.
No,
Yeah.
Mr. Irish is not here, and Mr. Irish is missing an amazing
Yes,
beer.
he's
It's a beer we've had before, some of its other inklings. This is from Southern Tier. They have a pumpkin series. Pumking is their seasonal pumpkin beer.
Yeah.
They turn into Warlock. They have regular pumpkin. This is the second year I think they've done this one, or at least the second one I've found. This is their rum barrel-aged pumpkin. It is probably my favorite out of the group.
I had a pumpkin, but it didn't taste like this.
The regular pumpkin does not taste
no,
like this.
it-
This is really good.
Yeah, this was definitely better than the one I had, because I remember you recommended it to me.
Yeah.
I think I got the wrong one or whatever, but
Yeah.
it didn't taste like this. So this one is really, really good. This is probably one of the highest beers I've rated online. So
It's a 9.5.
this is really good.
It's a really interesting flavor because you definitely get pumpkin, and then there's definitely a rum back. And it's clearly a spiced rum because you can taste either it's the pumpkin spice they use or just the spiced rum itself. There is cinnamon and nutmeg.
You definitely get that.
That just
Yeah.
barrels through, but it's got a really smooth finish. It's boozy, but not overwhelming.
Yeah, it's really good. Like I said, the cinnamon hits you right away.
Yeah. And it's light. Like you would never believe this is a 9.5. It's a light,
It's a good amber color.
but you can see through it.
Yeah, it's not
for a
it's
9.5.
not like a dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Plus,
Really
I like
good.
it because it's got a pumpkin on it that looks like a pirate with a parrot on his
Yeah, it's a
shoulder.
pretty cool bottle.
And this is the 2017 vintage. One of the things we do on Untapped that I believe in, when you're checking into beers like this, I always see these vintages. Because beers like this, Funky does it, a lot of places do it. They do make beers once a year and they do change. So I always check in to the vintage of that year because they do adjust. Perfect example is Sticky Treats from Funky Buddha. The first year I hated it.
I've never had that. That's the marshmallow.
Yeah, and this year
Never
I
had
actually
that.
enjoyed it and it changed. Blueberry Cobbler is the same way. Blueberry Cobbler adjusts each year.
That's my favorite.
Where sometimes you get more cinnamon, sometimes you get more vanilla. Maybe Bacon Coffee Porter is the same way from Funky, and I don't want to pick on Funky, but Pumpkin I noticed too. Pumpkin changes. The 15 vintage I like. The 16 vintage was okay. You may have had this year's. I didn't like this year's.
Yeah,
I tried it.
I tried it, and it was really strong.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I like the fact that more breweries are doing vintages, because they admit that, it's not that they're changing ingredients, but ingredients change. It's the pumpkin they get, or the water changes, or something like that. And it's sort of, that's why I love beers becoming more like wine, in that you can have the same beer 3 years in a row.
Different flavor profiles.
But there's slight variations in them. And that's why I love beer. But we're talking today about why is talent leaving, why they're requesting leaves. It's all stemming from that Neville has left the company.
Yep.
Now he hasn't officially been released yet. There's not been a future endeavor.
He has to negotiate that.
He's negotiating that now, but he is gone.
Checked out.
The newest one is Nia Jax has been granted a leave of absence, and she walked out. Before we had Austin Aries.
Yep.
Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
And that's what we're kind of calling this, is the Cody Rhodes effect. I really do, because Cody's done so well in the independents. He's made guys think
his
about
was kind of mutual, but he asked for his release.
Yeah. But he's shown that you can leave and do really well. But we're going to kind of talk about what's going on, why are talent leaving, who we think could benefit, or if they left, who would flounder if they left. And then if you're the WE side, how would you fix this? So we'll kind of go into that. So first off, let's talk about, why are people leaving? We have, and just set this up, think about it, this should be the great land of opportunity on both sides. You have 2 different shows.
Yep.
You have 5 hours of wrestling with Raw and SmackDown, 6 if you add 205.
Yep.
So you have plenty of time. You have very large rosters. I honestly think this is too much saturation, and a matter of, once again, the problem they always have is they concentrate on 6 guys, and that's it.
Yeah, and that was supposed to be the purpose of the brand split, was to create opportunities for everybody.
Yeah.
The way they're booking, they could have just had one brand.
Yep.
And done what they're doing now. We've been saying it for months. The mid card doesn't really exist.
Nope.
Your tag team division is pretty non-existent on one brand. And then the middle, if you notice, there's a trend with the mid carders are the ones that are leaving.
Yeah.
Cody was a mid card. He had the Stardust gimmick. He wasn't being pushed. Never had a title shot. Austin Aries, he lost 3-4 straight pay-per-view title matches,
and then he got shoved to 205 and hated it.
He's not a cruiserweight,
No, he is not. Neither is Neville.
No. But like, they're not. If you're not Braun Strowman to Vince, then you're never going to be champion. You know what I mean? So it's like they come up and then they're smaller in stature, and they don't get the opportunities that they deserve. And I understand that there was a need to build a cruiserweight division. At the time, he was the perfect guy to build that around. But at the same time, it has to be a means to an end.
But you had, this thing is this is where I think they made a mistake with the cruiserweight division, in that they built it as its own show, but then downgraded it immediately.
Yeah.
Part of the reason, part of the problem was, and they stopped doing it recently, was, remember they used to change the ropes and everything? Mm-hmm. I think that made it feel like so separate.
Yeah.
It made it a problem.
They thought that was a good thing by doing that.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Whereas you honestly, if they were to build 205 right, it should have been the most exciting show they have. It should have rivaled NXT on the network.
And they have some great talent.
Exactly. As the most watched show. But they're not building it because they're not putting storyline into it. It's all pure wrestling. And the problem with that is as much as I love wrestling, I need that throughput.
Entertainment.
I need that entertainment. And you're not building talent to me. You build up Neville as this amazing, amazing, dominant cruiserweight. He loses to Enzo. And then by your own storyline, he attacks Enzo and now can't have a title shot.
Yeah.
That made no sense. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing.
That was the dumbest thing. And if I was him, I'd be like, why am I here? And you're right. And you talked about before the show, we talked about he's not a cruiserweight. He should be on the main roster. He should be going against AJ Styles for the U.S. title.
Exactly.
He should be taking on, KO and Sammy. Those are the guys he should be going
people
against.
Like that.
But they gave him, remember, the gimmick they gave him when he first came up was that horrible superhero gimmick.
Yeah.
The human arrow. Oh, he's great. He does this. It was horrendous.
The best thing that happened to him was him getting injured. From a creative standpoint, it enabled him to kind of refocus and rebrand himself.
It's a badass.
He put on a good 15, 20 pounds.
Oh yeah.
While he was out, he got ripped, came back, like I said, as a badass. And that gimmick had
stare.
That gimmick had staying power.
It was that stare.
Yeah, but he was a no nonsense.
Yep.
In your face, and you don't see that with cruiserweights too often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like he carved out a good niche for himself. And then he had I want to say like 100 and something day title reign.
Yeah.
He lost it to your man from the Titus brand, Shizawa.
Yep.
For like 2 weeks.
Yep.
Which made no sense.
Yeah.
Like you broke up his streak for no reason.
You have no history. You have no history on the belt.
Only for him to lose it back, to ends. I was just like, what are you doing? Like you said, why am I here?
Yeah.
And there was no direction for his character. And it's like at any job, if you don't see an opportunity to advance, eventually you're going to look for something better. And I think that's where we're at with these mid-carders.
And the thing is what's happened recently, and it really hasn't happened in the last 5 years, is no one company has shown up to take on WWE directly. Companies like ROH.
Those days are over.
What I'm saying, but companies like ROH.
Yeah, we want that, but those days are over.
What used to be What Culture Wrestling, which is now, I forget the name they're using now, but they have a different name now. New Japan. All these companies are doing really well on their own, and guys are realizing that they can work the same amount of dates for 4 different companies.
Yeah, exactly.
And make as much as they can working for one company, and actually make more because you're making more of your merchandise. You're branding yourself because you get to own yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where the big key comes in. Cody Rhodes.
You have less time on the road.
Well, no, actually, no. Cody says he's working just as many dates as he did with the WWE.
But they don't have to.
Well, he doesn't have to, but to make the money he does. But he's having more fun because what now he's doing, he just started with ROH exclusive. Mm-hmm. Before, he was working with so many other companies.
Yeah.
He found it more interesting because he got to work with different talents and different people and stuff like that. The thing is that where they're losing talent is the guys that aren't concerned about titles. They're concerned about putting on good matches. And I think that's where you've noticed all the guys. Austin Aries is a great performer. He should have been a solid mid-carder for them in every way.
Yeah.
He had a great run with the promotion not named.
Yeah.
He came into NXT, had a good run.
Mm-hmm.
He came on the main roster, had an okay run, then got the shove to 205, and it was over.
Yeah.
They're using 205 now, I feel, as almost like a pacifier for some of these guys. They go, you said, oh, you don't weigh 300 pounds? Oh, you're not 6'5"? Look, we're going to put you on 205.
Yeah.
Send me back to NXT. I'd rather be in NXT at that point.
Exactly.
If they came to me, if I was a talent, they went, we're going to put you 205. I'd be like, no, just send me back to NXT. I'll go down there.
Yep.
I'll live in Orlando again. I'm fine.
Exactly. I don't, like I said, the money, to be honest with you, I'm sure the money isn't really that big of a deciding factor. I mean, like I said, when you go to work, you don't want it to feel like work. When you're in the entertainment business, you want to be happy to go out there and perform for your audience. When you don't feel like you have an opportunity to be successful at your job, anybody's going to want to leave and look for greener pastures. Creative is the problem.
Yeah.
That's where the problem lies.
Well, that brings up the question is, okay, so in just the town alone, with Cody Rhodes, Austin Aries, and Neville are 3 big ones.
Yeah.
Nia is huge. They need Nia Jax.
They do.
They need Nia Jax more. I'm going to say this. This is going to sound bad. Out of those 4, they need Nia Jax more than the other 3.
Yeah.
This is why. Cody is great. You can replace Cody with somebody else. Same thing with Austin Aries. Nia was unique in the women's division. She was their monster, and now they don't have that.
Well, the problem with her leaving is her options are limited because the women's wrestling scene on the indies is nothing like it is.
But honestly, she's supposed to get another. The thing is this is where it happened though. She had a good modeling career going that kind of fuzzed
No,
out.
I mean for the wrestling side.
But no,
though.
but this is the thing is this is what, and that's what I also heard. I read this today too. Her modeling career kind of fuzzed out. She went to wrestling as a secondary.
Mm-hmm.
She got so popular with wrestling that she started getting new modeling opportunities. She may end up going back to just being a model.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because the indie scene for women, like ROH doesn't really have a strong women's division. The other company,
No.
they're not
New
even,
Japan is the
they're-
only one that has a
They're
really
not
good-
even viable. So like for the men, unfortunately, it's easier for them to catch on
Yeah.
in the indie scene than it is for a woman. So if she were to leave, her options would be very limited. So I think she would, like you said, she'd probably get out of the wrestling business altogether.
Plus, I look at it this way.
And I would hate that.
Considering her lineage and who her
That's
cousin
a
is,
big mistake for
that's a huge mistake.
yeah.
Because I'm sorry, you're trying to keep The Rock happy as much as you can. And I'm not saying you keep okay. I would say if she couldn't hack it in the ring, I would say I understand. She's good in the ring. She got better on the mic. She looked good on camera. Why not keep her around, make her a monster? Then you can say to The Rock, hey, look.
You don't want that to be the reason she gets ahead.
Yeah.
Like you want the opposite. You want her to distance herself from him as far as possible.
I'm not talking about on screen. I'm talking about backstage.
No, even more. That's even more so because you don't want her. You want her to earn her spot.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying. I'm not saying that she's using The Rock. I'm saying the WWE uses her to keep The Rock in the fold by making her. No, what I'm saying is her improving.
Oh well, he's always going to be loyal to them.
But it also helps though to say,
Yeah.
hey, look, why don't you come back? Hey, Nia's got a match at WrestleMania. Do you want to be in her corner? Just her. I mean, just the idea of doing it.
Just how unique she is. That's reason enough alone to keep her around. But she's improved.
Oh, hugely.
So like I don't understand why like
She should have won the women's title
all
already.
the women are good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take anything away, but her problem is she doesn't, for Vince's taste, and we know he's still stuck in his ways.
Yeah, he wants hot.
He's
and-
always gonna put the hot girl out in front, and he's never gonna have a Karma when she was there or Nia as the face of the women's division because that's not his vision.
But you had, with Nia especially, you had such long-term storyline potential to build up
did.
to a Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania match where they've built Team Bad. You could have had them run through the fall and into the winter as a group, and then at the Rumble or something happens where the opportunity is there for Nia to finally go after Alexa. That is money.
And not only that, Ronda Rousey's in the background.
Yeah.
That would have been a perfect.
Or if you want to, okay, not that I want Nia to be a jobber. If you want Asuka to be the dominant monster,
That's your
wrestler-
WrestleMania match is Nia and
Exactly.
Asuka.
You want Asuka to be your dominant wrestler. Her and Nia going head to head and just destroying each other. And honestly, no matter wins, it comes out as a winner. But those two, as in the monster big person, not picking on Nia, but the monster person versus the unstoppable force. It's sort of it's almost like your Hulk Hogan Andre the Giant match, where it's the immovable object versus the invisible force, where you just have these two people that just collide.
Look at the roster and look at the people that Asuka's going to be going against. Like, if you were to look at them, do we really feel like any of them have a legit chance of beating her?
No.
But if she were to go against Nia, you were like, this is the one person that can put the first loss in the loser column.
She's gonna be on Raw. She's gonna tear through Mickey James. She's gonna tear through Sasha, and Sasha and her have matches before. Her and Bayley had some good matches, but she destroyed
when
Bayley.
you put her and Alexa in the ring, it's not going to look like the biggest mismatch you've ever seen. In the ring.
Nia is that person.
She's the one person. Like, I'm not scared of you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to walk up in your face and intimidate. Like, you're not going to intimidate me.
And she's
and
the one.
So much money in that.
And she's the one person that you legitimately Asuka could kick, and her no sell it.
Yeah.
Where you're gonna go, okay, I buy. Because if somebody else no sells on Asuka, you're gonna go, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
They're going to be down. But if Nia does it, you're going to go, oh, And honestly, we have not seen. Now, I'm sure Asuka has wrestled bigger girls in New Japan,
sure.
but in NXT, we've not seen it. She's gone against everyone. She's never wrestled Nia, as far as I know. She's never wrestled Nia.
She's moving up because there wasn't competition.
Yeah.
So all of the girls basically look like Alexa Bliss in stature.
Yeah.
Now you're coming up. Oh, well, we got Nia Jax up here.
Yeah.
You never beat me. And it's like.
But I'm wondering if that's why they announced they granted her a leave of absence. I almost wonder if they're trying to figure out, like with Neville, we clearly know
they want her to stay.
With Neville, I don't think so. And Neville,
No, he's going.
They're negotiating his release. They're trying to figure out how to end his contract.
And just,
I'm assuming they're trying to. It's financial. I'm sure
they probably feel like she can be salvaged.
I think she can.
If she just cool. If they let her like take some time and kind of regroup.
Yeah.
They may make her some empty promises backstage, but she needs to. I would hope that she reconsiders. Maybe Alexa can get it, talk to her because I know they're good friends.
They're very good friends.
Just kind of talk her down. You know what I mean? Let her cool off. Give her some time off to regroup and
I know too, and her talking to her, The Rock may not be. Dwayne may talk her too. Be like, hey, and again, I think it comes down to, I think she needs to ask herself this question. And I'm not saying she is questioning herself, but is this what she wants to do?
Yeah.
I know she's frustrated, but you need to decide, because sometimes this is part of the business, though.
And at the same time, you haven't been up on the main roster all that long.
Nope.
So, I mean, I don't you didn't expect to just come in and take over. Like, you had a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Once you got up there to get to where you're at now.
Talk to Jericho. Jericho's talked about before on his podcast before, when he had a huge pop in the beginning and then he sort of floundered for a while.
I mean, everybody goes through that.
Yeah. So, but what's causing this? That's the question I want to know. Is it okay? And this is the question.
It's to me, it's booking.
But is it booking? Okay, this thing is how do you fix it? Is the booking as in? Is this a Vince problem or is this a company problem? And I know that's hard to separate, but I think it is a thing.
We really couldn't answer that.
No, but what's your opinion?
Speculate. Like, for me,
I think it's a Vince problem.
I think it is. When it comes to Nia, I think it's a Vince problem.
Because Triple H has already shown that he'll work with those people.
Yeah, when it comes to Nia Jax, like, if Vince's vision, if it was up to Vince, they wouldn't even have a woman's division.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And so I think, like, even the fact that they have that.
Well, they would have a women's division, but it wouldn't be what it is now.
They wouldn't.
It would be bra and panty matches again, and it'd be nothing but glorified models.
Maybe not bra and panties, but like, they wouldn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been a Hell in a Cell. They wouldn't have been, the ladder matches.
There wouldn't be a Money in the Bank.
No, yeah, you wouldn't have had that. So, from that standpoint, he's kind of softened his stance, but he still has a vision for what that division should look like. He always wants the glamour girls, because they do a lot of modeling and photo shoots outside of the ring. So his priority is not on that division. Until they get away from the Michael Hayeses, the old guard.
Yeah.
That's still backstage, that has a lot of political power. They're never going to take that next step. You already have established stars at the top.
Well, you have Charlotte, you have Alexa.
No, I mean in general.
Oh yeah.
So you have your AJs, your Roman Reigns, people.
Oh, you're talking about the divisions
all around.
Yeah.
So you have your you have to invest in future stars.
Yeah.
Before the old ones leave or before they lose their luster. So like, Nia should have, like I said, at this point, she's been there a year. She should be ready to take on Asuka.
Yeah.
You should have invested in her, because you called her up. So obviously, you saw something enough to bring her up. Why wasn't there a plan for her to be at a certain level once you brought her up?
Well, and the thing is there's no future, there's no planning in their storylines. And contrary to what Stephanie McMahon said in an interview that I read, that they plan their WrestleMania plans, a year in advance. Yeah,
there's no way. There's no way that they have any vision for anybody that doesn't make them a ton of money.
Well, the thing is that I know is crap, because there's been tons of stories online from wrestlers talking about how they showed up at a pay-per-view thinking one thing, and 10 minutes before they went out were told something completely different. So they change on the fly instantaneously. But that's the thing is would it be better under Triple H? if Triple H took over, if Vince was gone, would a Nia Jax or would a Neville be used better? You know, he has shown with NXT that he is willing to use, how do I put, alternative talent to Vince's vision.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe
Yep.
is a perfect example.
He's got more and more power.
Yeah. And he's willing to bring these guys up. You know, I'll look this way. I'll give you one right now that we'll talk about is Enzo Amore. Enzo, without Triple H, Enzo would have never given a shot.
They'd still be a tag team.
But not even that. I don't think he would have been in a company.
I think he'd be a tag. He's a good. He always need talkers.
Yeah.
Vince has always been fond of people that can talk.
But he wouldn't be off on his own.
No, that's what I'm saying. He'd be a tag team. Him and Kaz will still be a comedy relief tag team right now. It's hard to put, like I said, put my finger on it. I just know that the guys and girls that aren't happy are the ones that aren't getting utilized to their full potential. Okay, and you're going to see a lot more. Yeah, follow this blueprint unless something changes with the way the mid-carders are booked.
Well, let's talk about. Okay, so we'll do a kind of round robin like we've done before.
Okay.
We'll do a round for round, as in let's do somebody that we think would benefit from leaving, and then the second round we'll do somebody who we think would be, if they left, they'd be stupid.
Okay.
So do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I got one.
Okay, go ahead. Somebody you think would benefit. We'll start with benefit
Dolph
first.
Ziggler.
Okay, that was my first pick too.
Yeah.
He would do huge on independence.
Yeah, he really would. He could reach Kenny Omega status.
Yeah. On
the Indies.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He is probably one of the top 3 underutilized talents on the roster.
Yeah.
We've documented it here before. Flashback, 2 years to the when he was on Team Cena against the Authority.
And he won the match.
Carried the team.
Yeah.
He was at his peak.
Yeah.
He couldn't get more over than he was at that point. And what did they do with that?
Yeah.
Squandered it.
They flushed it away.
And so, why even take the time to write that out?
Yeah.
To bring him down to nothing. And the guy's been a 2-time champion, you wouldn't even know it because they never mention it.
Yeah, you're right.
The guy's been a 2-time world champion that's never get talked about.
And had a great Money in the Bank cash in too.
You never hear about it.
Yeah.
And it's he's only going to job out and make these guys look good until his contract's out, and then he's going to leave. But for him to leave, like I said, he could be on that Kenny Omega. I think he could surpass Cody Rhodes as far as where he is now in the indie scene because he has more charisma. Even to his credit, he's one of the best workers that business has seen.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't get the credit he deserves. So
by far,
he's my top choice for the first one that needs to leave.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one. Finn Balor. They have squandered what they built in NXT with him. They took what was one of the greatest talents in NXT history, a guy that would help define, that took NXT to the next level, really was there when NXT kicked them, and completely squandered the main roster. Now, I know the injury hurt him when he won the Universal title, but there's just until now he's stuck in this horrible feud with Finn Balor with Bray Wyatt. I don't feel like they know what they want to do with him, and he's another guy that if he left and went back to the Indies and went back to New Japan or to Ring of Honor, would be massive because he already had the pedigree coming in. Yep. Unlike a Dolph who's built his pedigree inside the company, Finn came in as Prince Devitt as an established star. And I feel like they've taken that star and tarnished it. Whereas if he left and walked away on his own, he would brighten himself up and would be massive. We would hear more about him across the world instantaneously.
He's another victim of the of his size.
Yeah. Somebody that the Triple H clearly loves because NXT made him a god.
When they finally decide to give you the ball, so to speak, and run with it, and then you get hurt the very same match.
But that was not his fault.
It doesn't have to be because that's not how it's looked at.
Yeah.
By Vince, you're looked at as it's a trust factor.
Yeah.
Your body's you're not big. You're not the strongest guy. So now I got a question. Can your body hold up and take these bumps?
Yeah.
Can I put you out there 4 or 5 days a week
And that was sad.
And trust that you're not going to get hurt, because now I'm putting my faith in you to be the face of my company. And that's just why Vince has always been that way. Unfortunately, the bigger guys seem to hold up to that punishment and taking those bumps a little bit better than the smaller guys. But for him to leave, I can see that. Being already established, though, he's going back to his comfort zone. You see what I'm saying? So like he's already been there, so he knows what that's about. Yeah. So he kind of goes back to his comfort zone. Whereas for my pick, like for Dolph, he's never really done that. So I agree with you. For him to go out there, and I think he can make it, because he can go, man. He has the charisma to back it up, and like this current gimmick,
the Balor Club.
No, Dolph. I was going to
Dolph. Okay, yeah.
I was just saying with his current gimmick, he can.
The anti-gimmick.
He's kind of playing. He's kind of talking from his heart.
Yeah.
But like with Balor, the charisma, it's not really there. But that would be good on the indie scene, because that character has mystique.
Yep.
And he would go like back I said, the less he talks.
Well, he wouldn't be Finn Balor. He would go back to Prince Devitt.
To Prince Devitt. Yeah,
he would have to, because they own.
He owns
Finn
that
Balor.
name. Yeah, but like the less talking he would do, the better for him. But they're mismanaging him. Yeah. He has a gimmick that the fans would love.
The Demon is a great gimmick if it's used properly. It's not being used properly right now, but it should be used when we talked about on the last show. It should be used for when you're provoked or for title matches. Those are the only two reasons.
I don't even.
It's a second gear for him.
I just think we talked about it before. I think that he's talking too much.
Oh, I agree with you completely.
That's what's really killing him. Yeah, is them putting him out there. He didn't do himself any favors when he said, "I don't really like talking." Yeah. So like they're making him talk when that character shouldn't be. That character shouldn't be a Shawn Michaels with a microphone in his hand. Every Monday night.
Well, maybe he should benefit from somebody like Paul Heyman. Put him with a Heyman. Let him be.
Heyman needs a monster.
No, but Heyman needs a. Okay,
I think Heyman needs Strowman.
That's
another argument.
Okay, we're gonna go off on a tangent for a second.
Of course we are.
I think when Lesnar leaves, I don't think Heyman needs a monster. I think Heyman needs a roster. Heyman needs more than one guy. I think Heyman should be the connecting factor between Raw and SmackDown, where Heyman should recruit from both shows, and both shows have Heyman factions. It could only be 2 or 3 guys on each show, but Heyman should be the underlying current. That's just my opinion. All right. So off my soapbox. Okay, so tell me somebody who you think that if they left, it would just completely destroy their career, because there's guys on the roster that if they left would disappear and end up working at Burger King.
Enzo.
Yep. I agree with that one.
He definitely he needs that publicity and that platform. Yeah. Because he's not a wrestler per se. He's more of an entertainment act. If he were to leave tomorrow, I think he'd be done wrestling within 6 months.
I agree with that.
The novelty act would wear off really fast, and in the indies, if you can't wrestle, you'll get exposed. Yep. And I don't think he would last very long on the indie scene.
Okay. I'm gonna give you one that's gonna hurt to say. Not hurt as in me personally, but somebody who is so damaged that I'm not sure they can recover, and it's Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas can go, but they have damaged him so. And him and Curtis Axel
put them together. That's a package deal, right? Yeah, because I think they're both
damaged. And Curtis are in the same boat. Now, I don't want to give a twofer, but maybe that's what I want to go for. But they're so damaged that I'm not sure that if you're ROH or you're a New Japan or you're a Defiant, that was the other company that World Culture became, that they have enough now positive buzz to make it anything. And I feel bad because I'll say this. Between Bo Dallas and Curtis, Bo can go. And I know Bo can go because I've seen some of Bo's matches. They're incredible. Yeah. But they have so misused him that I think he's damaged beyond repair. And I hate to say that. It's sad.
I think the piggyback off of that, he definitely is. He's He needs to be on TV, but they're getting a rub being with the Miz because
the Miz Taraj.
The Miz is on TV like regular cable a lot. He was on ESPN last week, so he's a national a guy that they put out there to do promotion for them. With Axel, I think you're going to see him follow the Ted DiBiase Jr. Path, where he'll be out of Podcast Kitty agrees with me.
Yeah.
Where he'll be out of wrestling once he's done with WWE. I can think that they've taken the love of the business out of him.
Yeah.
And I think once his contract's up, I don't think you'll see him wrestling on the Indies.
I think this week especially, you watch he did a whole angle this week where he was hunting Roman Reigns. You can just see he's just phoning it in.
It's just not, it's like with the lineage he has, I don't see what they're doing with him.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. When they tried to put him with Heyman and it didn't work with him and Ryback.
And that was sad.
That was the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah, that was sad. When he was a Heyman guy and you can't get over, that's when you know.
That was pretty much the end of it for him.
So I we're kind of, we're good into this now. So what I want to talk about is there a fix? If you're the WWE, okay, so you're the WWE, I'm going to put you in I don't want to say you're Vince, but you're looking at the company. This is your company. How do you fix this? What do you do to make sure that your talent doesn't want to leave? What are you doing?
You have to give them, first of all, your contracts have to be better. You have to make sure,
like more guaranteed.
You have to make sure that you're getting as many people on these pay-per-views as you can. You're making sure that they're getting a lot of money out of the merchandise that they put time and effort into trying to create. You have to help them. Like the way society is now, everybody is trying to build their own brand.
Yeah.
No matter like if it's sports or entertainment or whatever. So these guys and girls are independent contractors.
Yep.
Basically, they're not provided with any benefit. So they have to pay for their own wardrobe. They have to pay for their own travel. So they're responsible for a lot of their own success. So you have to basically, it's more now than just giving them a platform. You know what I mean? Like you're giving them a platform by being in the WWE, but that's not enough. They want to be compensated. They want to feel like they have value. Like their brand means something to your company. So you have to, like I said, the more incentives in their contract for they get, pay-per-view appearances. You have your own network. There's no limit. You can have 4-hour pay-per-views every month if you want to. I can get 8 good matches on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
This is talent. I can throw five people out there in a 5-on-5, BS pre-show match and get them paid. You have to spend more time. You have 2 shows, 5 hours a week, like you said. We're not writing past this week, apparently.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
And I think that's part of the problem.
You have to have people want to know where they stand. So if I sit down with you and like, Fluffy, we're gonna book out the next 6 months of your career. We're gonna do this. This is our plan for you.
Things would change, but at least we have an idea.
This is the direction we want to go.
Yeah.
And that way you know where you stand.
Yeah.
I'm leading towards something. I'm building towards something. I can, as a performer, that's going to motivate me to prepare myself for where we're going because I know what to expect. You see what I'm saying? So like invest in your talent and you have to make them feel like they're a part of your success. Like it feels like they take these performers and talent for granted. It's like you feel the company feels like you should be grateful to me for bringing you into this. Where it should be like I'm glad that you signed with my company because we can build something together.
Yeah.
And it feels like the WWE is just like you should be happy that we're bringing you on board to this machine, as opposed to welcoming them and making them feel like their contributions and their characters mean something to the company.
Yeah.
And I feel like, a lot of people are leaving because they're not happy with that.
Yeah.
People can deal with making less money if they're happy. You know what I mean? Like if you're at a job and you're not making what you think you should be worth, but you like the job, you're going to be willing to put up a lot more.
Yeah.
But if you're not investing in me and you're not even paying me, like what I feel like should I be making, then there's no way. Like at some point that has to even out, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't feel like they're doing that with their current talent.
My biggest problem right now is, and maybe this is old school of me, I wanted the city to go back to the way it used to be somewhat with booking, in that, remember when championship opportunities were 1 month? Like you would have almost a challenge, like in a year, you'd have 8 to 12 people who challenge for that belt. Right now, I feel like it's 4, because you have the match, then they lose, you have the rematch, and then you lose. I want to go back to where every month or so it changes a lot, and I don't feel like we have that anymore. Like I know I feel like it's the same guys over, and it's over.
So that's why you feel like these people are wanting to leave.
Yeah,
they're not getting the chance.
Exactly. If you were to say, okay, and even if you know they're going to lose, okay, I'll give you Neville as an example. Let's say he's not on the main roster. He's on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with him going challenging Brock Lesnar if he's on SmackDown, Jinder Mahal, 1 month?
Yeah.
And you have a 4-week program where he's going to lose, but at least he's there. Mm-hmm. And you're almost rewarded, because think about when Hogan was champion. And but think about Hogan. Hogan wrestled some crap people, but you made people like the Big Boss Man and, Honky Tonk Man feel good, because you're saying, hey, look, you've done a great job for us for the last year or two.
We're going to give you a shot.
We're going to give you 1 month with the champion. You know you're going to lose, but you're involved in the champion.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to go back to that, where we don't have the same guys. I want champions to be vulnerable, but I don't mind if every so often they have a month where they're going to win, but at least it's interesting. Where you have that sort of challenger that comes up and goes, I want a shot. Why? I just want a shot. I don't need a reason. I'm not a contender, but I want a shot. And I go after it. And the champion goes, fine, I'll give you a shot. Because Hogan did it all the time. Hogan would get attacked by the Big Boss Man. Big Boss was never going to win the world championship. Yeah. But all he did one night is go out and attack Hogan in the backstage area or in the match, and all of a sudden Hogan goes, I want to wrestle him. Fine.
But then he was the main event on Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
So like you said, they
need to go back to that. They need to almost say, hey, you're going to give this opportunity, whether it's for the Intercontinental, the U.S.
That's your reward.
That's your reward.
And that's our way of showing we appreciate you working your butt off for this company. And like you said, it's booked around 6 people.
Yeah.
You can take each show and you can name the 6 people that are going to be featured every week.
Right now, okay, we're going in, like, this show will air after TLC. TLC involved the Shield reunion. You just put the 3 main event guys in Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns in one match.
Go back to Raw. Think about it.
That's 3 matches.
They were in 3 segments on Raw alone.
Yeah.
They started the show.
Yeah.
They had a backstage segment, and they were
they were more than that. No, they didn't. They were the main event with Roman and Braun Strowman. You had a tag team match with The Bar and them. You had 5 segments.
4 or 5 segments
that involved them.
Can you imagine? So think about that.
That's insane.
They wonder why Neville and Nia walked out.
Yeah.
They were in 5 segments, and you got a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
And I can probably name 10 people that weren't even used.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Like we already know who the Shield is.
Yeah.
Where's Dana Brooke?
We have 3 hours on Raw. This is insane that this is what's going on. And this is where it goes back to, I think this is the problem is they've lost focus, the WWE, on the idea that it's not about the superstars, it's about the entire show.
Yeah.
And they're so worried, and this is where I think they've lost track of, and they're not worried about you and I.
No.
Really, they're not. They're not worried about the hardcore fans. They know we're going to stay.
Yeah.
They just want the cheap pop.
The casual fan.
They want people who are the casual fan to go, oh, I know the name The Shield. Oh, I'm going to watch this paper that haven't watched, da-da-da-da-da. The fact that the way they're pimped, and this goes back to the way they pimp the network. If you hear how they pimp the network, they don't pimp the network anymore. And this is what makes me mad on, hey, go to the network and watch all this great. Remember when they first started? Watch, Story Time, which I can't stand, but watch 24. Watch all this great stuff. Now it's, hey, if you sign up now, you get TLC for free for 30 days. You can watch it for free. Or when they have multiple coming up, right before this, when they had Hell in a Cell, it was like, hey, if you sign up today, you get Hell in a Cell and TLC for free.
Yeah.
They're not promoting. Like if my thing is, if you're promoting the network,
yeah,
I wouldn't be promoting pay-per-view. They'd be like, hey, you get this stuff, but you also get, the specialty shows, you get NXT, you get all this stuff. They have become so show focused in that it's the main event focus and lost track of all the guys around it. That's
the key to any, like the top guys and girls. They've already, like I said, they've already been established.
Yeah.
You have to create future stars.
Yeah.
Like any, sports league.
Yeah.
You have to create future stars to carry your brand. So at the end of the day, when Roman Reigns, if he were to go down for 9 months, who slides into that spot?
But Roman's a great example of what they're doing wrong in that they have put so much investment into him. They had him and The Undertaker. They've had him take on Lesnar. They've had him all these old things. And the fans boo him. They don't boo him because, and this is the thing, they don't boo him because he's The Undertaker. They don't boo him because of the fact that he's not great. He's gotten better in the ring. They boo him because he's being shoved down our throats and he's the chosen one. And that's the problem is they've lost track of the idea of they saw somebody bankable and they went, ooh, we're going to make this guy a star.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but I have a problem with him being utilized 4 or 5 times in a 3-hour show. Like, he can be your main event guy. That's fine. But you have, 30 other people?
But in a 3-hour show,
exactly.
I don't need to see him for a half hour total.
Exactly.
He had a 10-minute match.
Started it out.
He started out. He had a 10-minute match at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to see him for 30 minutes.
And that's where the problem lies.
Yeah,
like they're oversaturating the top of the card. Even the Miz, he gets way too much time.
Oh yeah, he's getting a huge amount of time right now.
He gets a Miz TV every week.
Yep.
He gets probably a match or he's involved in something towards the end because he's now the top title holder on Raw with Lesnar not being there.
Oh yeah, well that's the problem, and that's why he's being put in that spot because and that's another problem is. I have a huge problem with Lesnar being champion because you have a guy who's not there every week as champion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can still book the show around his contenders, though, if they wanted to.
But they're not even doing that.
That's the problem. If he's not going to be there, at least, these guys are going to be fighting for a chance to fight Lesnar.
Yeah.
And at least book it that way. But they're not even focusing on the title.
Yeah, because if you notice, we haven't even mentioned Lesnar in weeks.
Who he's fighting. Now we're just figuring it out. But
but the thing is even Raw never mentioned Lesnar.
No, they didn't.
SmackDown mentioned Lesnar when Jinder made his...
Well, he was the first one to call him out on SmackDown.
But no. This what I'm saying is if you watch it, he called him out. And then it was SmackDown announced that he'll be on Raw the following week.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was after Raw.
Well... But even on Raw, you could have been like,
he hadn't made the announcement yet.
I know, but still, you could have done something. You could have said, "Hey, Lesnar's going to be."
Oh, you can
next
say
week.
that. They have a big announcement concerning. I don't know. They could have done something.
Lesnar will be here next week to talk about Survivor Series. You didn't announce what was going on.
But that's another problem. Whereas you're not even the top contender or the top match isn't even from your brand.
Nope.
Like you could at least say. They could have tied it together. I don't know how you would book it off the fly, but like they could have tied it together where they promoted that.
Yeah.
Brand versus brand, champion versus champion. Jinder didn't need to make that big announcement. They could have just done it and build it up. You know what I mean? Over the weeks, and then say, "Well, Lesnar will be here to just talk about the match."
Or you know what? If you're going to do it right, I'll go back
have
to
Daniel Bryan on Raw and him and Kurt do something in the ring where they. Do a contract or whatever,
Or even, you know what? If you really want to build this brand versus brand idea, Jinder shouldn't have challenged Lesnar on SmackDown.
He should have came over to Raw.
Lesnar should have been on Raw, and then all of a sudden Jinder's music played, and Jinder should have come out and went, I'm here to challenge, quote unquote, the Beast as I am the modern day Maharaja.
And that was the premise of the whole brand split.
And
remember?
that should have been the idea of that's how you should have done it.
Yeah.
And then Lesnar should have looked just pissed off in the ring. That's how you set up that match. And then then you have Kurt Angle in the back calling Daniel Bryan going, do you know your guy is here?
Yeah.
And then that's when negotiation starts. But yeah, him doing it on SmackDown was a waste.
Yeah, it was. Because first of all, Raw's your bigger audience.
Plus, honestly, if you didn't build up right, you tell me the building wouldn't have popped if Lesnar was in the ring saying, I've got no one to wrestle at Survivor Series. Who wants to take me on? Then all of a sudden you hear Jinder's music starts.
Yeah.
People had no idea what was going on.
They don't, this the outside the box thinking
Yeah.
is what they're missing.
Yeah.
Like I said a while ago, it's no longer must see TV.
Nope. I know what's going to happen before the show starts now.
And even Iris was like, I feel like I'm watching it because it's basically my job to watch it.
Yeah.
There was a point where, we had to tune in every week back in the good old days to because we were compelled to see what happens next.
Yeah.
And like I said, they don't really forecast for next week's show. They don't have any lead-ins. They don't give us any teasers. They don't give me a reason to tune in.
Yeah.
They just kind of
assume.
They kind of assume that I'm just going to watch, and that's why I said the booking is the biggest problem within the company right now. They have to figure out a vision. Obviously, plans can change, but you have to have a plan in place. If I'm a performer and I know I'm going to be feuding with Bray Wyatt for 6 months, or I'm going to feud with him for 3 months and then move on to somebody else, I can prepare myself to better perform because I know what I'm going to get.
Well, that also, I think and that's the thing is, I don't think the talent knows if you're talent and you're told, okay, you're going to wrestle with this guy for 3 months, then we're moving to this guy for 3 months, then move on. You're almost in your head thinking, okay, you're talking to the next guy going, what can we do?
Yeah.
And you're going to the writers and say, hey,
you're going to have great ideas. You have time to brainstorm.
And the other thing is I go back to, and this is the other problem, is I think it's oversaturation. I've said it before. There's way too many pay-per-views. I want to go, I give say 12. Give me 12.
Yeah.
4 Raws, 4 SmackDown, and 4 combos. Give them 2 months between and let them build story. Let them make intriguing. I want to make this special. I don't mind. And even, okay, the 30-day rule is completely out the window. And we already know that.
Yeah. Your favorite.
But make it a point. If I don't mind seeing Jinder every week. But honestly, I don't want him to defend his title on Raw. I want him only to defend his title at pay-per-views. I want to go back to that, especially for the world title and the WWE title. I only want them defended on pay-per-views. And if you have only 12, so you have 2 months. So let's say Jinder, at the last match, he won at Hell in a Cell. So he's now champion. So now let's say if it wasn't Survivor Series next or whatever it was, you have 2 months between that for an AJ to come up.
Yeah.
Now you have 2 months
of build up.
Maybe you have a non-title match in there somewhere. Maybe you have something.
And that's why I never really had a problem with Lesnar not being there every week. But the problem is there's no build up.
Yeah, there's no build up. There's no reason.
They announce his opponent like 2 weeks before the pay per view.
Yeah.
And then he shows up to do a face off the week of the pay per view, and that's pretty much all the build up.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Like, you have to have compelling. That's why people, like I've always told people, wrestling is a male soap opera.
Yeah.
That's why women watch quote unquote stories, soap operas, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Because they leave them with cliffhangers every day.
Yeah.
They're tuning in tomorrow to see what's going to happen because they're setting up the story. We don't have that. And we don't have enough characters that I care about because they haven't spent enough time investing in them to give me a reason to care about them.
I'll give you a good long term. We're going into Survivor Series. Again, this is me playing Booker. If we only had 12 pay-per-views a year, okay, and Survivor Series is one of the big ones. Obviously, that's one of the joints. I would have spent the last, especially the 2 pay-per-views for Raw and SmackDown, and every Raw and SmackDown. At Survivor Series, I want to see a brand versus brand match of 4. I would have at least 1 on each pay-per-view and building up the Raw and SmackDown, qualifying matches to join Team Raw and Team SmackDown.
Yeah.
And have guys literally fighting and clawing to represent your brand.
What you can do with that is you give them an incentive on top of that. If our team wins, the team that wins will fight in a battle royal
to
for
win
a chance
contender.
to be the number one contender.
And same thing with Royal Rumble.
Yep.
I don't want to see the Royal Rumble in general. The minute Survivor Series is over, in other words, I would almost do my booking around the 4 big ones and use the individual pay-per-views to build towards that. Like, my opinion is, okay, because again, the 4 big ones, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam.
Yeah.
In other words, the minute Survivor Series is over, you're now building towards Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
You use the Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views to qualify and have matches in there to qualify for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Your entire show is building, you're still building your champions, but that's where you get your mid-carders in there, Survivor Series matches, big SummerSlam matches. You're building towards the idea of, okay, every week you're wrestling to get into this match.
Yeah.
Every week we have a qualifying match. If you win, you're in the Royal Rumble. If you lose, well, we'll figure something out for you. And you use these pay-per-views and you cut down the amount and you build the tension and you make it important.
Not only that, think about the intrigue you could have a Survivor Series match. You got a Team Raw versus SmackDown where you have that stipulation where if we win, you got a chance to win a title match.
Yeah.
Imagine a Braun Strowman and Reigns on the same team.
Yeah.
For Raw.
Yeah. They have to work together.
Imagine an AJ or a Baron Corbin on the same team.
Yeah, but they're fighting for a chance.
So like the possibilities will be endless.
Yeah.
And it's just like whoever's writing, they don't have any vision. They don't have any vision at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's Vince restricting them or if they just don't have that creativity in them.
I really think it's they're so shooting on the fly now that I think long-term plans just go out the window. So
I think they bring in writers that just don't have any clue about the business.
That too.
And that's where I think the disconnect is.
But I'd like to thank Southern Tier for your rum barrel aged pumpkin.
Yes.
That was really
He gone.
Good. He gone. I enjoyed it. So if you can find it in your area, I know Southern Tier is spread pretty far across the country now. Definitely check it out. Make sure, they said there's as far as I know this year, there's 3 different versions that I've had. I've had regular pumpkin. I've had the Warlock, which is the Imperial Stout version. It's not really pumpkin, but it's the same base they turned into. And this is the rum age. I enjoy this a lot. When you're ready to put your beer down.
Beer, you're so dumb. You think booking 6 people in 3 hours is best for business.
Make sure you head over to vintagepressing.com. Vintagepressing.com, where you can get drink coasters, luggage tags, phone cases, and more.
Follow us on the Untapped app. You can find out what we're all drinking. You can follow me as I slowly crawl towards 200 at GoodOLJB. You can follow the Irish O'Leary on Untapped as well as he resuscitates his liver this week and builds towards 400.
You can follow me as I put my liver and kidneys in a Hell in a Cell Survivor Series match every day at Mr. Fluffy.
Scaffold match.
That's right. I don't like my kidneys at all.
They don't like you either, trust me.
No. You can also follow us on Facebook at Beers and Body Slams Podcast. Tell us what, we're always looking for topics. So if you come up with a good topic you think we want to hear us talk about, put it on Facebook or tweet us at Beers Body Slams. You can tweet us there. Tell us topics or ideas you have for us. We're always looking for new things to talk about that maybe we don't think about.
Absolutely. Any last words, Fluff?
No, I got nothing. You got anything?
No. It's
Get well, Irish.
Good to be back. Yes, get well, Irish. We will see you next week, sir. Until then.
Can you believe that Bob Backlund came out as the 4th member of the Shield? That was just, I didn't see that happening. I had no idea that Bob Backlund was in the Shield. It was crazy.
Yeah, about that.
Oh my God. As always, make sure you keep your pint glasses full and your body slam stiff.
You've been listening to the Beers and Body Slams podcast. Find us online at beersandbodyslams.com and on Facebook at facebook.com/Beers and Body Slams podcast. Until next time.
Have a nice day.